And you're originally from Hampton?
No, I'm originally from Chase City, Virginia.
Okay.
This is about 15, 20 miles south of, west of South Hill.
Yes.
Danville is on up further from South Hill.
Right. Yeah, my uncle used to own a
Huh?
my uncle owned a house there, so I'm somewhat familiar with
Yeah.
Chase City and
Yeah,
South
when
Hill.
you get to South Hill, you go straight 22 miles to Chase City.
Okay.
And then you got Clarksville, then South Boston, and Danville.
Okay.
That's the area that I'm from.
So when you were you went into Richmond to report for duty to the Army, ended up on Battleship Wisconsin, and did you have any idea of how intense the fighting would be once you got into the Pacific?
Nope. But we were lucky. We never lost a single person from enemy gunfire. But we did lose one guy. One of those 16-inch shells fell 7 decks on him.
Oh my goodness.
And it killed him. And
Oh.
that was the only death of our crew. Now we had a lot of deaths that we picked up off of other ships, and because we had a large, we call it where the doctors are, and they would be brought over to our ship to be done fixed up, and we lost some of those.
And there were burials at sea?
Yeah.
From?
They buried at sea.
Okay. Were you ever on the ship decks when the kamikazes came over and attacked
Yeah.
her?
Well, it was the Japanese captured a TBF. That's a little bomber, and they fixed it up and loaded it up with explosive and brought it into the Franklin and went into the Franklin. They had what do you call it when you leave the ship, jump overboard. In a way, they abandoned ship.
Okay.
They abandoned ship. That was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I think you know, a lot of times you get things mixed up, but that afternoon, the crew that was working on the ship stayed on. 5 o'clock that afternoon, they had everybody back on board, and they had the ship going at 5 miles, well, 5 1/8 miles an hour, or 5 knots at its own power at that time. But that was just one of the things. So that put a scare in us. And our cab, a cab is our planes that is over us. I was in a task force, and they protected us from enemy planes. And the crazy people should know that when they come in on a plane, they go back out. This dumb son of a gun shot his plane down, and instead of going up, he came right down the middle of our convoy. Our port side, the whole port side opened up on him. And I was on a 40 millimeter up there next to the stacks. And when he came back, this was a fantail here, and when he came here and he pulled up something like that to show us his insignia, that we got to cease fire. And I said, and it looked like he was coming in on us. I said, I ain't gonna stay here and I can't shoot at him. I got off my plane and went back under the plate for where the posts were. But anyway, when he peeled off and landed, that plane was so full of holes, and I'm quite sure he was dead when he hit the water.
Oh my
that
goodness.
Plane just shook.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Didn't have a chance, probably.
No, never did see him.
How many people? How many ships were normally in your battle group or your convoy?
Let's see, I guess about 30, 35 or 40.
Wow, that's
We usually
quite a number.
Had 2 carriers, 2 battle wagons, and cruisers, a handful of cruisers and destroyers.
Right.
And those destroyers were the outside, the perimeter, just as like our cab was up in there. But
As Seaman First Class, what were your duties on the battleship?
well, when we were at war and when we were at battle stations, my area was 40mm second loader. Now I stood on deck. The boy up on top, on the gun itself, was the first loader. Now the 40mm shells comes in just like that, full, and he takes it and puts it in the gun. I'm sitting down here taking the take the unit out of the hole that the guy in there hands to me and hand it to him. And that's the second loader. But that's just at wartime, and when we're at either on station, and you can be condition 1, which is just ready to fight. Condition 1 easy, we can sit down and take it easy, waiting for something to come in. But other than that, since I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go up and rank or nothing. They did anything that they wanted to with me. So I guess I started out working in the head, and I think I worked in every head that we had on the ship. So finally, I got good enough that I was captain, and I think I made captain of about every head in there. And when I did, when I wasn't in the head, I was in the galley. So that was the two things that most of what I did when I wasn't on the gun. Well, now we were in northern Japan, and it was so cold up there that if spray comes over, it was enough spray. We wore our rain gear. If you didn't move, that spray would freeze on your rain gear. And you saw how the decks are made with the tar in between. Well, we left there and went 5 degrees above the equator. We never did cross the equator when I was on it, but 5 degrees above the equator, and we stayed there almost 2 weeks.
Warming up, thawing out.
That tar growed up, and when we left that, the wood was black.
Oh.
So for the next 2 weeks, we stoned.
I bet you did.
We had to stone all the wood back clear. And now that's another thing that we had to do. That's what you call deck person. In other words, anything that's on the deck that's got to be done, like polishing brass or sweeping or anything like that. That was my job. If I wasn't in the galley or
in the head or on the guns.
But you know something? That wasn't so bad either at all. I learned how to cut hair when I was in the head.
Really?
The guys would polishing shoes.
So you're polishing shoes and cutting hair in the head.
I polish shoes the morning before the inspection up on them. And that's when I'd have to trim hair.
Did you make any money off of that?
Well, you know, when I went in the Navy, I had never shaved, and I didn't see anything to shave. And our division got off of number 1 for one time because I hadn't shaved. And I told the lieutenant, I said, I haven't even got a razor. He said, we'll get you one. So I had to get one, and I didn't know what the heck. I didn't see anything come off when I did. But anyway, that was one of the little things that sort of stuck in my craw.
I bet it did.